Welcome back to More Sports and Les Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition. I'm Dave Bacon. Time to talk some Cleveland Browns football. And, of course, when we talk Cleveland Browns football now, it means we're going to talk some Baker Mayfield, the quarterback who has captivated the Browns and Browns fans. Let's head down and bring in Doug Lesmerises, the columnist for cleveland.com. Doug, the Rookie of the Year between Baker Mayfield and Saquon Barkley split. Barkley recently was named the Pepsi Rookie of the Year as voted on by the fans. Baker Mayfield had won a couple of the earlier ones, Pro Football Talk namely, and also the Pro Football Writers. There is a big one, the AP, which will be part of the NFL Honors Weekend. That'll be tomorrow evening, the day before the Super Bowl. Where do you fall on the Saquon versus Baker debate as far as Rookie of the Year goes?
I think we all know if you're talking value in the NFL these days, the quarterback's always going to win, right? So if you're going by how valuable he is to his franchise, no rookie is more valuable to their franchise than Baker Mayfield right now. So Browns fans, though, do have to understand that Saquon Barkley has a real case here. He led the NFL in yards from scrimmage. In addition to running the ball, he had 91 receptions, which showed you how much the New York Giants relied on him. He did basically everything you can do as a running back. Now, he's not a quarterback, so if you just want to go by that, then go by that and vote for Baker Mayfield. But I do think Saquon Barkley has a chance in something like this. He does have a legitimate case. But if you're going by value, and a lot of times with awards like this, even if the word valuable is not in it, that is kind of how you vote, then I think in this modern world, you have to go with Baker Mayfield. And you see his rookie touchdown record, and he has as good a case as Saquon for sure.
And let's take a look at just the body of work that he put together, being Baker Mayfield. You alluded to it, the rookie touchdown record, 27 by a rookie quarterback. But there was a lot more to it than that. He should get extra points because he broke the jinx of a guy playing quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Come on. I mean, that's got to be worth some extra points there. He got style points.
Well, and I think that legitimately is actually part of it. When you see you are put in a job where people have failed. And the other thing is obviously the second half of the year, that if you just duplicate his last 8 games and do that times 2, his numbers go that much higher. And so they didn't play him early, which you look back now and say, what were they doing? You look at the Todd Haley, Hugh Jackson offense, that was clearly holding him back. So I do think the voters, as good as Baker Mayfield was, the best case maybe for Baker Mayfield is that as good as his numbers are, as good as he really was held back by factors out of his control in the first half of the year. And if you look at the second half of the year, Baker Mayfield, I think it really isn't a choice. I think it has to be him, and I do think a lot of voters might see it that way.
Let's talk a little bit about how do you judge next year, year 2 under Baker Mayfield, year 1 with Freddie Kitchens as the head coach. How do you judge it as a success? Everybody's talking playoffs. Is that legitimate? Is it real? I mean, there are still some areas of this team that need to be improved before you can think, they're a legitimate playoff team.
I said 12-4. I'm going to say 12-4 a million times between now and the start of the season. Here's the thing in the NFL. When you get a rookie on a quarterback on a rookie contract, there is no waiting. There is no building. There is now. There is right now. Their best chance to win is in the next couple years while they don't have to pay Baker Mayfield very much. You look at the Los Angeles Rams, they went out and got a bunch of veterans. They paid big money for a bunch of veterans while they weren't paying Jared Goff very much. While the Browns are saving money on Baker, saving money on Myles Garrett, this is their window. This is not some kind of slow build. Let's try to get the wild card and maybe 5 years from now the Browns can win the Super Bowl. Their Super Bowl window is in the next 2, 3, 4 years. So it will be a disappointment. They have to lean into this. It will be a disappointment if they don't make the playoffs next year. They have the quarterback. They have the young defense. They have as much cap space as any team in the NFL. They have picks to play with. This is a win now situation. And again, if we're talking about doubling the second half of the year, that's 10-6 for next year as a baseline. 5-3, what they did once they got rid of Hugh Jackson. 10-6 as a baseline for next year. The schedule's not that tough. Anybody out there can go through it. Yes, anything besides the playoffs will be a disappointment for the Browns in 2019, and they should not shy away from that, and I bet they will not shy away from that. That legitimately is where they are, and that's how it has to work in the modern NFL.
Last question I'll ask you, Doug. Having said that, is it time to go out and get some young veterans to bring into this team? Is free agency more important than the draft if you are espousing a win now? Do they go out and spend some money because they do have that cap space?
I know John Dorsey said he's not going to go crazy spending money. I think that's just the kind of thing, as you say, as a ploy to make sure agents aren't lining up with their hands out in Berea. Yes, I've said I'm not that interested in them making the 17th pick in the draft. I'd love for them to trade that pick and go get somebody. It's the guys that you don't even know that are available. The teams that are in rebuild mode, the teams that are in desperate straits. Go take advantage of them. Teams have taken advantage of the Browns in the past. Go take advantage of someone else. But there's a lot of linebackers and defensive ends where they can supplement this defense on the free agent market. And I do think there should be opportunities like Jarvis Landry last year. You go out and make a trade and give a guy some money. I think there should be and will be more opportunities for that. The Browns should be the most aggressive team in the league when it comes to that. And again, when you look at the Rams, when you look at the way they got Ndamukong Suh, the way they supplemented their secondary with a lot of these veterans, they got Todd Gurley, they got Jared Goff, they got these young guys. They went out and got Robert Woods. They got other receivers out there. They went and got, you said, young veterans. Young veterans are the key. And if the Browns don't get a couple of those, again, I'll be very surprised and I'll be very disappointed because they are completely positioned to do something like that.